The reason why I believe, right, black on black crime is one of the biggest lies ever told is because all I hear is that narrative, black on black crime. I never hear Asian on Asian crime.
No.
I never hear Caucasian on Caucasian crime. I never hear Arab on Arab crime. I never hear it. So why? Why the constant use of black on black crime?
Then you can have a black on black task force like Trident.
As I said, if there's a black on black crime, there has to be a white on white crime, an Asian on Asian crime, or whatever. Like it has to be the same for all, because we are not the only ones. If you want to break things down into categories and you want to use certain terms, you have to use white on white, Asian on Asian.
Yeah.
Why doesn't that happen?
It's an obvious systemic thing, and I've always been arguing for this because Trident was set up on that, and Trident, if bearing in mind Trident is in, I don't know if it's all over the place, but it definitely is in London, and it's focused on intelligence from the gang's matrix, and they're one of the only set of officers that are armed. So they're not. It's not like the violent crime task force.
So are they armed for?
They're armed
black
properly.
people?
They're like armed like as if he was armed for terrorists. When you hear Trident, you know a general Trident car would be an X5, and you know in that X5 it has a certain sticker that you know they're armed, and they are. Trident are armed for black on black, and then you got to say, is this the new type of slavery? That is, because at the moment now what they're doing is there's this justification for, there's going to be a justification, I would say, that, you know, you had the Black Lives Matter. Have you seen this whole kind of real spotlight on Black Lives Matter, which is important, but you have to understand why have the media then allowed this? Because what they're going to do is they're going to put, when you start portraying violent images of black people fighting each other, but also like constantly being killed. As a black person, that has to arise. That's going to arise in anger, frustration. So the way you deal with authorities will always come from a place of fear and anger. So what happens is when you're like, we've had enough, we're fighting back. They can't control your power. So what they say is, well, we can't control these people. They're too angry and they're not having it. They're not backing out. Even their women. We need weapons.
Which puts us way
back in slavery.
Time
So,
to the animalistic traits that we've always had, and how we're this and how we're that, and the only way to have detained us was by chains.
There you go, cycles.
And by weapons.
There you go.
Because remember, we didn't know about guns in the first place. Yeah, we didn't know about things. Everything for us was throwing hands and throwing what the hell you could find.
So if they could put us in shackles and stuff back then, what's stopping them from doing that?
They are doing it now.
That it is right now. America shows you where Britain is going. So with America,
handcuffs are still the shackles,
it's different shackles, as we've explained before about music and how music then is being put into conditioning people to further be angry about each other. So for instance,
glad you're going there. Go on.
Because, like, you know, Universal had investments in jails, and you'd ask yourself why? Because they obviously promote black music and trap music and drill music. Trap, which is a trap, and drill a message of negativity into your brain, so then you become violent against your own, and then they enslave you because you break the law of the land. So you're not breaking in the legal system now, but it's the law of the land. So guess what?
Touch on that.
Yeah.
There is no narrative where they push a narrative of black people fighting Caucasian people. We're not going to show you a narrative of black people turning on the Asians, but the constant narrative, the consistent narrative that we will push is black people killing black people.
Yeah.
The Europeans are responsible for more than 95% of the fuckery that we have had to endure as a people. Why would the narrative not be for us to fight you lot?
Because, let me answer this. We can always deflect that, because we can then challenge it and say, well, what about the Asians fighting white? What about Arabs fighting white? What about everybody else that does it? Yeah? What we can't do, although we can still say, why do we not have white on white? Why do we have Asian on Asian? Yeah? We can't speak for them. So only they can answer those questions.
Yes.
Yeah?
Yes.
Whereas we can speak for ourselves. Yeah? So we can say, well, this guy did that, that's why he got shot. This guy did that, that's why he got robbed. Or that crime and that crime. But we can't speak for others. And then because we're still a minority, at this point, it won't work. Because then we're going to have larger groups of numbers defending themselves against us. Yeah? What they already know is fear and everything else breaks us down. Right? And if they can get us to learn to hate ourselves, we can hate each other. Because hating each other means hating ourselves.
100%.
Now, that already is a breakdown between us. Then you've got, like, whether it be over here, you've got postcode wars. In America, you've got them area codes, and you've got which gang you belong to. Yeah? So now, we've already separated you again.
So now where does that come from? Where does that teaching come from? Who's there?
It comes from whether it be the white man or anybody outside of our realm. Because at the end of the day, you think we just randomly said, hey, let's become Crip Bloods and this and that
And
and
start
that.
killing each
Randomly? No. Yeah, it was a systematic oppression thing that done it. Yeah, because hence why every time that they succeeded with something, it was when everybody came together. So they know the power and the strength that we have when we unite. Yeah, when we are divided, there's too much confusion and controversy between us as a nation. Right? Doesn't matter where the hell you're from, as a nation we become that way. So now, if we can fight each other, what's the first thing they can say? Well, how can you talk to us about doing this or us doing that to you when you do it to yourself?
But also,
You
we have to
that.
We have to acknowledge within all of this is that there's actually more white on white violence than there is black on black crime.
But
And there's
remember,
always
the numbers are higher, and this is where us being the numbers are higher.
What do you mean?
As in population.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
No,
what
but
I'm saying-
even if you
Yes,
if
but
you
no,
look
but-
at it, so when it comes to violence in this country, it's not down to colour per se. It's down to social economic class. So obviously, if you've got poverty, there's going to be violence because people are crabs in a bucket trying to get somewhere.
But do you think that it's only down to we know it's economic
Yeah, no.
class, but
Northern Ireland.
What?
Northern Ireland is fucked.
But what I'm saying is,
like
remember,
violence-wise,
they
when you
don't
look
do
at
it like
how
that.
they have to deal with the people in Northern Ireland, and the way they're flipping, they have to bring the army out. It's not a
But
game.
Jay, do you think when you've got young, right? We know there's youth culture, right?
Yeah.
We acknowledge that there's a youth culture over here. So that could be any race. You could be black, white, mixed, Asian, this, that. And we know that come a certain age grouping and wherever you're at, your socio-economical,
you're still learning
right?
mentality
But what I'm saying is
wise.
they all behave the same.
Yeah.
So it's not
There's a
it's no
tribal-
longer a race thing. It's down to where they're from, their age groups, and who they're with. Yeah. So do you think though, although we know this, do you really think that when they're looking at them stats, if they got 15,000 white boys doing certain things, and 10 to 50 black boys doing the same thing, you think that if they haven't grown up in an area, they're not going to still blame the black people?
Of course.
Right? So when I say we know it's other things, to them it's still a race game, because if your little black boy that's rapping in America is this, and then they've got the little Vanilla Ice coming out and he's doing the same thing, that's because he's been listening to the black music. So don't worry, mum, we're not going to solely blame him because it was the influence. Yeah? But the influence was who and what.
If we plant
Do you understand what I'm
ignorance,
saying?
if we plant ignorance in your psyche, then you will do whatever we want.
Exactly. So now we don't have to worry about those few white boys that have gone down the wrong path, because there's more than enough still on the right path. But what we cannot do, when I'm saying about arguing, and although you know their numbers have always been bigger, now the difference is that's when they manipulate the numbers and say, well, hold on, there's larger amounts of us, yes, but in ratio, it's not numbers anymore, it's ratio, if you know that the ratio is still smaller, but yet a higher population of black people are in prison, how does that even equate to being the same?
And
Can I add one?
Sorry. And the most important part is that, and this is the reason why I asked, right? It is because I know it's not black on black crime.
It's 100%.
It's white on black crime. It always has been. It's just that because we take things for what we see, as in black boy does this to black boy, you think da 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 da. But I say a conscious black man is never gonna put his knife or his gun on another brother, sister, or anyone. He's not doing it.
No.
If he's conscious and he's taking into account everything, you're gonna say, wait,
Why
my
would I do-
reflection
Yeah.
ain't.
I'm not killing
That's
me.
not my enemy.
I'm killing me.
I'm killing me. This is why I have the most amount of empathy for black people, because I know that if we're consciously operating, none of this is happening. It's just that there's so many of us that are ignorant. We can't really see it for what it is. We can't see that there is a teaching that is happening here.
Yeah.
In America, they put drugs in the communities for black people to fuck themselves up with.
To sell it, to take
They
it.
put it in there and they let it rot us out.
Yeah.
And then said, do you know what? We're gonna wrap you lot up now.
Thing is, they've even
You give
researched
us
it
the
and proven
access
that
to
as
all
well.
these
No,
guns.
there's proper documentary.
You
That's
give
what I'm
us
saying.
access to all these guns. First you plant the ignorance in
Then the
us.
drugs,
Then you put the drugs in
And
us.
then the guns.
Then you
The
give us the
teaching.
shit
the weapons
food.
to kill ourselves.
Then you want us to kill ourselves,
Yeah.
and then you lock us up.
And then
If
you
that is
reinf-
not the perfect plan,
don't
I
lock us
don't
up,
know
you
what
put us
is.
and then you
around.
reinforce it with entertainment that only reflects black culture as something negative, hood, all of this stuff. Do you know what I mean? So then you give us the drill, and then you give us trap, which is a trap. It's just in plain sight. And then what happens is I now walk down the street and I see a group of black youths, and I'm already what if my man are these not
You
gonna
know
try
why?
it? Do you know what I mean?
Because
It's Matrix,
you've
well,
been trained to believe that you are your own enemy.
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, if your enemy is within,
Yeah.
you're going to attack those that are within.
Yeah.
Right? At the end of the day, now these young boys are looking and saying, hold on, where are you from? Like the guy said to you, where are you from? Ready to attack.
And he
Because
didn't even
now,
understand where he's from.
Now what he's not
Because
done.
he would never ask you that if he knew where he's from.
No, but
Does that make sense?
What he's not
'Cause he's-
doing is just minding his own business and
Yeah.
living his life
But-
and not worrying about
He
it.
Can I
asked
just
me
co-
where I'm from because
He doesn't
we lock
identify
eyes.
where he knows where he doesn't know where he's truly from. Because if he did, he would recognize you and
I
he would
said,
be like, my brother,
Right.
You
I
cool?
see you,
Yeah.
I see
Boom,
you,
boom,
kind of
boom.
thing.
Yeah.
But because he
That's
doesn't
it.
know where he's from,
They're looking
maybe
on a
there's an
they're
unconscious
looking
thing that
through
is saying,
superficial
can you
lenses,
tell me
that's
where
why.
I'm from?
Yeah.
Because I don't know where are you from.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
I can't relate to you
But
right
remember,
now, and
it's
that's
trained into
our
men
job.
more than women.
Yeah.
Because as females, we don't walk past. Yeah, we might walk
No,
past.
but-
Oh, she thinks she's
Yeah,
too
yeah,
nice.
But
yeah.
remember, you
or
don't
a
have
level
to.
like
You don't
that.
have to say it. You can even think
No,
it.
but what I'm saying
That's-
is females will tend naturally to have more of a, she thinks she's too nice because of the way she's carried herself, or the way she's
Yeah.
walking, or the things she's wearing, and that. Not to say
My
she
girl thinks
doesn't,
she's hot.
but yeah, but it's more
Why
on
not,
that
though?
level. But it's more on an artificial looking way, because you can look at another white girl, an Asian girl, and still think the same thing. Yeah, it's a girl thing. It's across the board of females. Whereas a man will look at another specific type of man. You can have one black boy walking down the road and you can see every other race, yeah, and he won't question anything. Just carry on walking unless the guy looks like he poses a threat. Make him see one black man, and it's the one black man he will challenge.
This is why it aggravates me when I hear black people, especially, I wouldn't say older ones, or
But it
younger
is
ones,
older.
just ignorant
Yeah.
black people say, but we're doing it to ourselves. Just be quiet, please. No, we're not doing it to ourselves. They have done it to us, and they've been doing it to us for centuries, and nothing's changed. Our fight is not the same as anybody else's.
Listen, men have been taken from us from the dawn of time because of their power and strength. Hence why when they were chosen as slaves, they chose the youngest, the fittest, the strongest. Yeah, they were picked for a reason. They needed them to be on their side of the wall, yeah, to help them, whether they wanted to or not. Hence why they were getting whipped. Hence why they were getting this. Hence why they were getting that bad treatment.
Who
yeah?
likes drill, trap, and all
So
this stuff?
at the end of the
youngest,
day-
the fittest, the bravest.
Right, now at the end of the day, what you have to do, but now what we've included, and it's going to sound real rude and offensive, but we've also got the most stupid to add into that, yeah? No, well, a bit of both.
You know what?
And the
They're
reason
not-
why
they're
I say
not stupid.
is because,
Because
no,
they know
the
how to-
reason why I say stupid, yeah,
Yeah.
is because sometimes ignorance is bliss, yeah? Sometimes you could be so smart that you're stupid, yeah? Because you could know everything and still not put it, it's like you've got everything here, but you still don't want to see it. Hence why they can say, oh, we know that the system's fucked. We know that this is going to happen, but yet you're still walking yourself into that trap, knowing
Oh,
it.
yeah.
Yeah,
You're
that's
putting the
stupid
chains
now.
on yourself, like,
It's not
hey.
ignorance, that's stupidity. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and that's why I say it. But they need them kind of guys too, because they're clued up, but they're not clued up to put things in the right places at the right times. So at the end of the day, if we pick the young, the brave, yeah, and all of that we need on our team, we leave you with the remain. Now that's already, you got to remember, you got to narrow that down to who is even there for you in itself, because you've got those that are lost and might want to battle for the other side anyway. Then what do they do again? Leave us females now to raise the household. Yeah. Now we got to do. Now you got some where you got to do the raising the mum and dad thing, because that's what we have to do.
But the government's your dad.
Yeah. But the point
Government's
is,
your dad.
but you see them when we watch films
you
that was
set
jokes,
the trap, innit,
and we
where
see the
people
girl there with 5, 6, and 7 children, 5, 6, and 7 men. Now some of it, yeah, lady, it's down to bad choice.
You can't afford that as a dad.
Yeah.
The government can.
But what I'm saying is, it's bad choice for the
choose.
women of who they've chosen to end up in that situation. But then if you've had them men taken from you in any way, and sometimes it's not always the guy's fault. When you've had them taken, whether it be their lives gone, yeah, when you've had them get caught up in a bit of madness where they weren't really trying to be in it and they've now been sentenced for how long, they've been stripped of that, yeah, so they're not allowed to be the fathers, not because it's not that all of them don't want to be, but do you understand what I'm saying? There's a difference. But then we're back down to that narrative of a single mom with how many children, and the dad's on, and what they will always project is the dad didn't want to be there. But there you go, guys. Black on black crime don't exist.
Yeah.